We're live? All right. Welcome to Waters Garden Center. My name is Michelle, and today we are going to talk about autumn colors. So we're going to go kind of through the gambit of some of the deciduous stuff that really show off this time of year. Also with some evergreens that'll take you into the winter season that make great choices so you have a good mix in your yard. What I guess I would start with is some of the maple. The maple tree is a fast growing tree. If you guys are new to the area and you're looking for a great shade tree, the maple is a great choice. He will get about 40 feet tall and about 25-30 wide. If you keep him fed, you will never have a problem with them, and well watered. And when I say well watered, we give you a planting guide when you guys check out, or we should. If we don't, please ask for one, because it is a step-by-step how to plant your trees here. And it is totally different than any other area that you've been in. We basically have very dead soil, and we need to incorporate organic matter. So we use the mulch when we plant, just to give it some holding power. And we use it no matter whether you have heavy clay soils or if we have DG and very well draining soils, because it does two things. In the clay soils, it helps break up that clay. It gives you some air pockets so water can drain in there better. And then in your DG, well drained areas, it gives you water holding power. So you definitely want to use it when you plant. And that's anything that you plant, perennials, shrubs, trees, even yuccas in your deserty stuff, because we need to help that soil. Autumn blaze maple, fabulous, fabulous color. Fast growing tree as well. So he will get, once you get established, and when I say established, that means that they have to go through a couple of growing seasons to get that root system out. Sometimes the canopy grows too fast, and if you don't have a good, healthy root system, it won't support the growth of the tree. So be patient with your trees and don't expect them to grow really fast, especially in the conditions that we have, because they're not going to grow super, super fast. Deep watering is very, very important. So when you plant a tree, we'll give you a guide that whatever size of bucket that it comes in is basically how much water you're going to give it. So if it's in a 15-gallon container, you're going to water it 15 gallons once or twice a week in the heat of the summer. And again, it's so hard for us to say you're going to water twice a week, no matter what. Because it's just difficult. You might have two different areas in your yard that is different. Even holes that are 10 feet away from each other could be different. There might be more rocks in this one, more clay in this one. This one's going to dry out faster than one with the clay. So pay attention to your plants. That way we can troubleshoot faster for you or better for you. We're kind of in that shoulder season right now. Our temperatures are lower, our nights are longer, our days are shorter. So we do not need to water as often as we were in the summer. So if you haven't adjusted your sprinkler system, you need to do so. Or your blue spruces are going to start yellowing or turning brown inside. Your deciduous trees will take it just because they're more adaptable. But if you continue to water your evergreens like you did in the summer, you will start showing stress. So please arrange that so you're watering properly. Once we get to December, we're in winter watering mowed, and winter is basically December through March. So we're going to water every 2 weeks. Basically, at this time, your root systems are going to shut down, and you're not going to get any root growth. All we are doing is keeping that root ball moist. So it's ready to go when we start warming up towards March. March till the end of April, we're back to that once a week type deal. And then once we hit May, we're in full summer mode. And again, like I said, depending on our winds and heat, you might be watering once, twice, maybe 3 times a week, depending on how high we get or hot we get. So make sure that you're watering properly. Evergreens, blue spruce, Colorado blue. This is the baby blue, which is one of our newer trees. The cool thing about this is we're in these, you want me to move it over? Okay. We are moving into these smaller areas and smaller lots. This tree only gets 10 feet wide, which is really nice for some of those smaller lots. He will get 40 feet tall, but he's very, very slow growing, so don't expect it anytime soon. Really pretty blue spruce color, just like a regular blue spruce, just not the same size. This guy's hiding, so I'll bring him out. Okay. This is a chaparral, Arizona cypress, or they call it a yellow. This tree's kind of changed its name 3 times, and I have to ask our vendor to tell me why it's done that. But gorgeous color. I just love the uniqueness of this tree. It's one of the smaller trees. It'll get about 15 feet tall and about 10 wide. Very, very drought tolerant, so you won't have to worry about the heat because he's really adaptable to that. He's more like our native trees than anything else. And he adds a pop of color to otherwise boring landscapes. He's not green, he's not blue, he has his own identity. Absolutely. Of this color? Or just an Arizona cypress? Yeah.
So I just moved into the house. It has sap coming out of the tree trunk. It's a pretty big trunk.
Okay.
Is that in stress?
Possibly. Get with me later, and I have some questions to ask you,
Okay,
and we'll.
picture.
Yeah, that'd be great. Great tree. His companion or opposite, this is a blue ice Arizona cypress. He gets the same size as that one does, and gorgeous color, and they have this very unique smell which I just adore. It reminds me of Christmas. Sorry, I was hiding. I was being shy. A great plant, and just this unique color. He's just absolutely gorgeous. While I'm on this side, I wanted to kind of introduce you. We've had this tree for a couple of years running. This is the Sensation maple, and he's actually a box elder, so that's why he has the little bit of different leaves on him than the autumn blaze, but fabulous color. Another fast growing tree. Again, he'll get about 40 feet tall and about 25 wide. He has the more orangey color, and then the reds, and he tends to have that multitude of color always going on. So really nice way of doing things with him. They don't. No. Box elder bugs are just around. They especially during the fall season is usually when they're doing their thing as far as migration and looking for places to lay eggs and things. So you'll see them more late summer, fall than you do any other time. Another fabulous fall color shrub is this burning bush. He is part of the euonymus family. He does lose his leaves, but green shrub all year round or all summer long until fall. And then he starts turning this beautiful maroon color. And he gets his name Burning Bush because he just looks like he's flaming. Nice size shrub. He'll get about 6 feet tall and wide, fast growing. So not everybody likes the deciduous stuff because they worry about having to clean up leaves and stuff. But realistically, they're the ones that are going to give you your color, your flowers, and all of that stuff. Say that again. Her question is the requirements of the sun. He is a full sun plant, so he loves the full sun. Water just like everybody else, once a week, once established, and you're good to go. Very prunable if you want to keep it at the 4 foot, if instead of the 6, if once he gets big. Great shrub. Okay. Perennials. Perennials can give you wonderful color this time of year. All sorts of them continue to bloom all season. Autumn sage, which everybody's familiar with, it is one of my favorite plants. The hummingbirds love this one. I have them in my garden right underneath my bird feeder. So while the other ones are waiting or eating, the other ones kind of hang around these plants. Variety of colors. This is a new one. It's a bicolor rose, which is really kind of cool. It's kind of like that Hot Lips red one that has the bright red color, and then it has the white on the outside. But like I said, hummingbirds just love this guy. The autumn sages will get about 3 feet tall and wide. The ignition purple one is the smaller of the bunch, and he usually gets about 2 feet, but he does spread out pretty good. Shasta daisies, leucanthemum, do really, really well, and they bloom most of the summer. White daisy, great color. Coneflower is another daisy. This one's called Fatal Attraction. Both of these are also full sun. I love the red stems, and that's what his uniqueness is that he does have the maroon stems. Great coneflower to add to collections. And who doesn't love mums? This one is the purple. These guys are perennial, so they will come back in the springtime. You'll just basically have this little green bush for all summer. Sorry. This is a mum, chrysanthemum. They come in a variety of colors. We get the purples, the reds, the orange, rust, yellows. So whatever color scheme you're looking for, there's a mum to meet your needs. Like I said, they are perennials. So once your buds start to die off, give them a little haircut. There are new buds already forming underneath here, so you'll have another bloom. These guys can take a light frost, so what we're going to get next week, this guy will be fine. So don't do anything with them. If you want to kind of preserve your flowers, you can cover it up with floss cloth. That'll protect the buds and keep them from kind of withering out earlier than they would normally do. In the spring, you'll have this green little bush shrub. it's always a good idea to kind of give it a haircut, like in June. That way it kind of bushes out and it doesn't get really leggy on you. And then it'll bloom in the summer, late summer or fall.
How much fertilizer for that?
Fertilize just like you would normally with the 744, and you'll be just fine. Absolutely. Yeah, I have mine are in a 20-gallon pot that I stole from here. One of the big Monrovia buckets. Huh? It's a Monrovia bucket, so it's a big tree bucket. So it's just nice green color. It matches with some of the stuff in my yard. But the mums that are in it are fabulous. So. All right, annuals. Annuals, this time of year, they start doing their showing off phase. And we have a bunch down there. And the great thing about these is they will last through the winter. So no matter if they get snowed on, frost, anything like that, they don't mind. They just kind of lay there when we get heavy snow. And then once it dries out, the sun comes up, they just perk right back up and are happy as clams. The only time they fail is if they get too much water, so be careful. The potting soil stays wetter longer in the wintertime, so be careful of that. But great combinations. There's pansies, violas, dianthus. This is a peacock ornamental kale. Just a fabulous color scheme to add to a pot. And with our temperatures dropping down, our summer petunias and our vincas are all going to go south. So now you can decorate for fall and winter with some pansies and snaps, stock, and all of that stuff. In this mode, you can also do your fall veggies, beets, onions, kale, lettuces, all will do well. Careful of your lettuces, they don't like the cold, so make sure you put them really next to your house or cover them. Everybody else will be fine. Boxwood. Boxwood's another one of my favorite plants. He's kind of boring because he's just green, but he's such an easy shrub. He doesn't take a lot of maintenance. You don't have to trim him unless you want to. Every once in a while, I'll get this wild hair and I just go out and trim it up so he keeps his little shape. But other than that, very, very easy. Say that again?
Pack rats will trim it for you.
Mine have never touched this, and I have pack rats a lot, and they don't mess with this. My snapdragons, yes, they do. And they don't eat it. That's what makes me mad. They just trim it. It's like, do something with it if you're going to do that. But birds love this because they like to hide, and you do need some of that evergreen stuff. So if you are a bird watcher, the boxwood's a great plant to have next to your feeders and stuff because it gives them some protection. While I'm talking about that, once your mum finally dies out, don't trim him back or anything. Just let him go because the birds love the seeds that come off of it, and it's so fun to watch. Grasses this time of year are really starting to shine. This is called platinum blonde. He is a blue grama grass. And people are kind of funny about grasses. They either love them or they hate them. So it just kind of depends on what type of person you are, whether the grasses are going to be for you. But they're an excellent option for you if you're looking for drought tolerant fall color, because in the breeze, these just move around and they're a lot of fun to watch. There are a lot of different grasses that do really well. Carl Forster is another one that has wheat stalks that are really pretty. The pampas grass, which I'm currently out of, is a fabulous one. So if you have a spot for grasses, now's the time to get them in.
Can you explain how to trim back grasses in general?
Absolutely. So grasses are a lot of winter interest. And again, the birds love the seeds. So I don't usually do any trimming until springtime. And that kind of goes with my whole entire garden, except for my early spring bloomers, like my spireas, my lilacs, and things like that. Don't touch those. But your butterfly bushes, your grasses, all of that stuff, March, go ahead and trim up. Roses, same way. For grasses, basically you're going to cut them down, and it kind of depends on the size of your grass. The bigger your plant is, I would leave a little bit more just so you don't cut it all the way down. Yeah, just take a hedge trimmer and just cut it across.
Did they grow up through that or outside of it?
Well, they'll come up from the bottom again, and so they'll cover that stump that you basically left there. If you ever get big pampas grass and it gets really big, when you go to cut it, you'll find this huge hole in the center of it because there's not enough sunlight for that grass to actually grow. So you never see it, but you will eventually have a hole in the middle of your grass.
Really big grass. You cut it a third, half?
I always go all the way down, usually 18 inches. With pampas grass, I go a little bit higher, but most of your grass is, 6 to 12 inches. Yes. Oh, yeah. If you do have pampas grass, one of the best things someone ever showed me is you take a string and tie around your grass and tie it really tight and then cut it. And that'll keep all of that stuff from going all over the place. So I guess if you have any big grass, you could do that, and it'll keep you from having to pick up every single stick that's left on the ground. It makes cleanup easier. These are some evergreens that really make winter pop. This is a winter creeper, and these are spreaders, so it's a great plant to, kind of work around some rocks. Most of us have rock yards, so they really pop. And I love the euonymus because most of them will have this, especially the variegated varieties, they will all have this pink purpley color in the wintertime. So they really show off this time of year. And there's all sorts of different varieties. This is an upright euonymus. This is golden euonymus, and he's about a 4x4 shrub, but really pretty color that really makes winter pop. And then these guys with the barberry are a really pretty combination. This barberry is lava rocket or lava nugget, and he will get about 2x2. He is deciduous, and again, sometimes your deciduous stuff gives you the best color. So these are great plants. While I'm on barberries, this is orange rocket, and I'm really surprised that he went so purple, but usually he's really orange. But this is an upright barberry, so if you need a little height in a yard, this guy will get about 5 foot tall, 3 feet wide. So great plant. Yes, yeah. They do have little red berries, which you never really see until they do go deciduous, but they do have berries. So Not so bad. Sea of Gold Juniper. This guy, just striking with color. And he is not one of those weird junipers that'll grow forever and ever and just take up your whole yard. He's a 4x4 shrub, and not a lot of maintenance unless you want to keep, if you're into trimming, that's the only time you would really have to trim him. A Sea of Gold. Full sun. Basically everything I've shown you so far is a full sun plant. This guy here is really a show off this time of year. This is a tiger eye sumac. He gets about 5 feet tall and wide. Beautiful color. In the spring, he comes out with lime green foliage, really, really pretty. For those of you that love Japanese maples, sometimes these can take place of that because he likes the full sun. There we go. So, there's always an option. If you come in and you're looking for one type of plant and it's just not going to work, we can find something for you that'll kind of substitute for another reason.
Did you say 5 feet?
Yeah. 5 feet tall and wide. The really cool thing about him is that these are his leaflets. So when he drops, this whole thing is going to fall off, and you're just going to have 3 sticks popping out of the ground. And then in the spring, all his new buds are right here, and he'll get these again next year. And he's fuzzy, which is kind of cool too.
You guys watched the garden tour last night? How many glasses of wine? Anyhow,
They were short.
if you remember the shop down there by Kent's Pond, they have some of the most beautiful sumac down there. It was just as red as could be. So if you missed it, it is available online. So you can remember that.
Thank you for saying that, because I would have forgotten this too. So the newsletter, we have some information about this class and some tips and things. So it's just for this class. So if you've been to other classes, please sign up or you won't get what's included in this class.
When you say full sun, do you mean like normal full sun, or do you mean hotter than hell full sun?
Isn't that the same thing here? Yeah, so full sun is anything more than 4 hours to me. And usually when I say shade, it's 4 or less hours of sun. And usually that's on an east or northeast side of a house, where as soon as the sun kind of goes around the corner, you get 8 to 10 o'clock and you're done. And we'll get to those plants over here shortly. But everything I've shown you so far is full sun plant. Okay, Jeremy was talking about this one earlier. This is a Virginia creeper, and this is a fabulous vine. Gorgeous color. He comes out green in the spring, and he will cover a fence really, really fast, and then just turn this blazing red for fall and winter. He will lose his leaves once it gets really cold, and you'll just have a wooden vine hanging out there, but he's really, really pretty.
Do you have to train it up, or can it be like a ground cover?
Her question was, do you have to train it up or ground cover? That's really cool about the vines here. You can do either or. If you want it more upright, definitely kind of give it a little bit of a nudge and tie up. But usually if you give it something to climb on, it'll figure its way through in and out. Through a fence or trellis or whatever. It makes a great ground cover too. So, and it's just like the honeysuckles and all of that stuff. You can do those either way too.
And that's full sun.
Full sun. So this one here is a newer Potentia. This one's called Ginger Snap. And I really love this pretty little orange color in here. Great for the fall. They kind of lighten up to a pale yellow once they're finished blooming out. It's just like a regular Potentia. We'll get about 4x4. It is deciduous, so it will lose its leaves. And Potentia is one of the few plants, them and the barberries, that I tell you to water the heck out of it when you first plant it. And usually once you get it established, 2 or 3 weeks, you're good to go, and you can get it back on the twice a week schedule or once a week, depending on your soil. Go to sticks in the wintertime, just give them a quick haircut to shape them up, and you're ready to go for spring. Potentias do come in a variety of different colors. There is a yellow, just the Goldfinger. Cheesehead's a smaller variety. It gets about 2x2. There is a Pink Beauty, which has a light pink flower, and then there's a white one as well. This is called Ginger Snap. They are drought tolerant. It's just getting them established. For some reason, they just need a lot of water to do so. Once they're established, once a week, normal watering is fine. This is one of my favorite perennials, and it's kind of all of our favorites. We've sold a ton of these this year, which is really crazy. He is an evergreen. It is a euphorbia called Ascot Rainbow, or Rainbow Ascot Euphorbia. So if you break his little stem off, he has the white sap like any other euphorbia. All of this margin, yellow margin, will turn pink. You can see he's starting to right now. It's kind of his winter color. He can go in a pot or in the ground. He will get about 2x2. Just a fabulous plant. If you are going to put him in a pot, I would use cactus mix because he's kind of in that cactus family. If you're going to put him in the ground, do your normal watering once a week. You'll be fine. And he mixes well with different things. So he's with his color, he really brightens up a spot. Nandinas, this is their time of year to shine as well. They are one of the few evergreens that do go to color in the winter time. So you can see this dark burgundy color in here. They have a lot of different varieties. So whatever size you need, we can find one for you. This one is the Sienna Sunrise. And most of them will get in that 3x3, 4x4 size range. Harbor Dwarf is a 1.5 to 2 foot range, and then the firepower Nandina is 30 inches is the size he gets. There's also Purple Passion, which gets about 6 foot. More tree-like, not as compact and dense as this guy is. Wintertime, he's going to be this color all over the place. In the spring, just give him a little haircut, and you'll have a green shrub for the rest of the season until next fall.
Do they do well in fall?
They do. You just make sure your pot matches the size of one you should get. Well, they are a little bit, they do sucker, especially the more tree-like ones, the bigger ones, they do sucker quite a bit. These are a few more evergreens that will make your winter come alive. Basically, we do have some boring landscapes around here. Sometimes in the wintertime, we need some color to keep us through the winter. Mugo pine, this is a dwarf mugo pine, and this is the dwarf glow blue spruce. The great thing about these are they are rounded. You will get a 4x4 shrub. Very, very drought tolerant, so be careful you do not overwater these. They will get yellow and turn brown on you in the inside if you start watering too much. Glow blue spruce, same deal, 4x4. He gives you a pop of color just like the regular blue spruce. He just doesn't get so big. We do get these guys on a standard, which means he's in a tree form, so he just looks like a giant lollipop. So you have your stem that's about this big, and then you have the 4x4 shrub on top. But great accent to any yard. Okay, let's talk a little bit about shade plants. Well, there's a few people that have shade. These are one of the, these are perennials. These are heucheras, corabels, eucheras. There's a lot of pronunciations of this. And the fabulous thing about this is that it's all about the leaf color. Great pops of color. Fire alarm in the sun in the summertime they turn bright red. So this color they kind of turn purple in the fall and winter. This one's called silver scrolls, which is kind of pretty. It has a lot of neat veining in it. And then this is the lime green one. The really cool about the lime green one is that he has little red flowers, which is really, really pretty. Depending on your location that you put them in and the proximity to your house, a lot of these will stay green for you. If you have them kind of out further in your garden, you're going to have, they might die back for you. But I've been to several homes that have them, and they in January, they were still green.
When you plant those, you just let them go, or do you cut them before they go?
No, you just, her question was, do you cut them back or just let them go? And I just let them go. Like I said, I don't do any cutting until spring. For a couple of reasons. If we get a heavy snowstorm, sometimes the leaves will actually protect your crown of your root ball. So having that extra protection there will help. The other reason is it might not completely die for you, so it's a good thing to have.
Will they grow under a pine tree or a spruce tree if you clear out all the natives?
Her question was, will they live under pines? And I see no reason why they wouldn't. You might need to add a little bit more sulfur because the pine trees have a little tendency to be a little higher underneath there. But other than that, you should be good to go.
What's the dimension of it?
So with the heucheras, they get every different variety is a little bit different, but typically they're a 1.5 to 2 foot shrub or a perennial size. They are deer proof, deer and rabbit proof. Javelinas, you're on your own there. Because javelinas, they're a nuisance. They don't necessarily eat your plants, they just dig them up. They're kind of like the pack rats. So this one is a red twig dogwood. He is a shade plant, another shade plant. And the fabulous thing about him is that it's all about his winter color. So once he loses all his leaves, you can see his branching in here. He just has beautiful red twigs. And it's great winter color. It's just fabulous. So he needs a northern exposure, or eastern side where he gets a little bit of sunshine in the morning and afternoon shade. Red twig dogwoods come in a couple of different sizes. Ivory halo also gets red twigs, but he has a variegated foliage. So he's really pretty as well, but he does need some shade. So both of these would need shade, but great winter color going into the fall. I'm sorry? So the red twig will get 9 feet tall and wide. And they're shrubs, so you will have a base shape more or less. The ivory halo stays in that 4x4. He's a smaller dwarf variety. I would plant them accordingly. So if your spread gets 9 feet, you want to come out 4 feet from your wall, so you can get back there, clean up, and all of that stuff. Same with any tree or anything else that you're going to put out in the shrub. Whatever your canopy is going to get, you want it half that distance. So if you're going to put a maple next to your house, maples are going to get about 30 feet, so 15 feet away from your house, so you don't have any strange branches falling on your roof. No, this one does not bloom like that. It is part of the family, but not. There are dogwood trees that we get in the spring that are absolutely gorgeous. They are also shady plants or trees, but they do get the pretty white flowers that most of you from back east love. Hollies are another plant that I just love. And these are also shady plants. We've been getting the magic, berry magic holly in here for a couple of years. You used to have to buy 2 in order to get the berries, but they have designed this one so you don't have to have 2 and you still get the berries and the flowers. So he's already starting his winter color. He's got all of this new growth, and then the red berries. He's still blooming in certain areas. Thought I grabbed one that's blooming. There he is. Little white flowers that are up here, and then beautiful red berries through the winter. Great Christmas plant to take some snippets off. So fabulous fall plant. And this is one of the more like an English holly. This one has little purple flowers. This one does not get berries, but it is variegated. And like the euonymus, most of your variegation will have a little pink tone to it in the wintertime. This Gold Coast holly will get in that 3 to 4 foot size range. So he's a really great plant, and he is a shade plant, just like the other holly. Okay. Any questions about autumn color? Yes.
This is a native autumn color.
Okay.
On the trails right now, there's this great plant with the little
Yellow flowers.
the little melon-colored globes.
Okay. What you're talking about is our scrub oak.
It's just
Those are just natural little berries on it. I think it's actually a gall. A gall is actually it coats an insect. It doesn't hurt the plant at all. Galls are pretty, they're ugly, but they don't hurt anything with it. So it's all aesthetics with those. Scrub oaks are one of those that out in the wild, they'll stay green all winter. They kind of lose some leaves spring and fall to gain new ones throughout the season. So, but evergreen as much as that. Yeah. Any other questions? Quick housekeeping tips. As far as planting, always use mulch. I think I touched that a little bit. Fertilization. Ken did his 10 steps last week. Don't forget to fertilize. It's really, really important this time of year. It helps with the stress that they're going to go through in the wintertime and gets them ready for spring. So if you want good production for fruit trees or your autumn blaze for next year, now is the time to fortify it for next year. Yeah.
You know, I noticed that the last mulch I got was straight mulch. Now you have mulch compost.
Well, so really quick, our producer ran out of our bags. And we had the option of going without or putting in another bag. And so we needed it. We ran out. We needed it in another bag. So it's our mulch. It's in a different bag. You are getting a little bit more in that bag. It's a 2 cubic foot bag. But as soon as our bags get in, it's kind of part of the COVID crunch and can't get them in. So that's what it is. Yeah, it is our mulch.
1/3 of that, 2/3.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
Starting Tuesday, we're gonna get some frost, it looks like.
Yeah.
Anything in particular there?
That was the next housekeeping. So yeah, we are going to get frost. I think it's Monday night into Tuesday. Well, Tuesday morning, we're going to be dropping below, I think it's like 30 up here. So go through your garden. If you have vegetables, pick your tomatoes or cover them. I mean, we're only going to have a couple of days that we're low. So if your tomatoes are still producing, your squashes are still, or most of my squashes have died back, but anything that you want to save from your summer garden, cover. If you've planted your winter garden, make sure your lettuces are covered. Lettuces will disintegrate with the cold. They can't tolerate it. They can tolerate 32 and up, but they can't below. Your beets and that type of thing, chard, all that heavy leaf stuff will be fine. But make sure that you take care of that. Your carrots will be fine. Frost cloth adds a couple of about 5 degrees to the temperature. So anything that's a little touchy, you want to cover it and get it fast because it's flying out of here. If you need it, stop by the store real quick and get it. Lastly, I think that's it. Anybody have any other questions? All righty. I guess we are done. I will get with you about your sap, and we will take care of that for you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining me, and it was good seeing you.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'm a Dewey, so.
Me too.
Yeah.
And if they say it's
Said
Friday,
that.
Saturday.